Smiling with his knife, looking at the glyphs, he said, "Open sesame." He charged and slashed through the glyphs with quick and precise movements. Slashing it caused a reaction, which crackling sound resounded as it glowed. Ding! A system sounded, catching Seoju's attention. Looking at the system, it warned him that there would be an imminent emission of intense energy in this location. The location of the imminent energy emission released a powerful ray of light energy, which shot up into the sky. The light illuminated and brightened the dimly lit bridge, which could be seen from 10 meters away. That bright light alerted Linda and Kiyoshi, who asked each other, "What in the hell is that?" One of the black-suited men who had accompanied Linda approached her, telling her that the tomb's entrance appeared to have opened. Kiyoshi, still focused on the light, asked if that light was the entrance to the tomb. After realizing, he didn't hesitate and bolted away. Seeing this, Linda shouted for him to wait as she followed him. Kiyoshi told the soldier that they should stay here, as there could be a second explosion, and to ensure no civilians come to the vicinity. Then he continued to bolt away. Linda, catching up, told him that he lies every time he opens his mouth. "If those guys follow us, it will be troublesome for you too," replied Kiyoshi as they both headed towards the intense, looming light. Arriving at the location, there was a huge hole where the light was coming from. Both halted. Kiyoshi moved close to observe to see what was below, but couldn't. "Damn it, too bright, can't see the bottom," he said, moving away. Wanting to know how deep the hole was, Linda threw a huge rock into the hole. After a few minutes, they heard a splash below, as if it had landed in a pool of water. Kiyoshi realized this, telling Linda that there's water below. "I know, but it seems pretty deep," replied Linda, deeply thinking about the next step. But not Kiyoshi. This motherfucker jumped into the hole. He just bet his whole life on the water below. No second thoughts. "Wait!" shouted Linda as she tried to stop the already gone Kiyoshi. Kiyoshi landed with a loud splash, which alerted Seoju, who was walking in the cave, closely observing the carvings in the dimly lighted cave. Turning his head to the sound where the splash came from, he said to himself, "I guess those dumbasses followed me. I guess I can't leave my guests unattended." He lit his lighter, reading the glyphs. "Let's see, what do we have here? A special drenched surprise pool. That's fascinating. Hope they like it." Kiyoshi swam out of the water, coughing and grasping for fresh air. "Fuck, this ain't water," he said as he coughed. "This is sewage water. No wonder it was warm even as soon as I dived into it."
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
Linda followed, coming down using a rope. Annoyed by Kiyoshi's action, in a sarcastic tone, he told him, "Real genius for a guy in an excavation team." "What a quick decision you can't understand," replied Kiyoshi. A loud sound was heard from the cave, coming towards their direction. As it sounded, it approached in a violent manner. Linda turned her head, asking, "What's that noise?" Those were the words just before a disaster.
Here's Johnny.
"Here's Johnny," could be the words of the huge wave of water approaching them. Kiyoshi, who was already familiar with the water's warmth, knew it wasn't what it looked like. Not waiting to dive into other people's relief, he shouted, "Oh no, 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 no!" Both sprinted in the opposite direction as Linda asked, "Where did that water come from?" "You think that's not what it looks like, but it's not. You'll know the answer soon," replied Kiyoshi. The water quickly caught up, giving both of them a splendid hug, drenching both of them. As they consumed a huge amount of it, trying to gasp for air, Seoju walked unbothered that he just activated a trap, submerging 2 people into sewage water and making them have a huge sip of it. He just continued to look for the relic. His eyes focused as he said, "I found it." Entered into a cave. Each inside, a cave. There was a pool of water that seemed clean, but I think it ain't water. Seoju walked close to it, looked at his knife, and said, "Since this is the only thing I have, I guess I'll use it." This motherfucker dropped the only weapon he had into the pool of water. Relics are said to be bad omens. That's what most people thought. They should research this man's actions. Ripples and bubbles appeared, and an increasing amount of bubbles began to form at the surface. A huge snake emerged, its length about 10 feet, with its body still submerged as it looked at him intensely. Seoju was happy to find the culprit that buried his precious home, trying to render him homeless. Looking at his belt in disappointment, he realized he had forgotten his mythical tier weapon in his leather belt. The snakey, having no clue about what Seoju was thinking, communicated with him telepathically, asking if yet another soul had lost its things to the depths. Opening its mouth, there were 2 daggers, a gold one and a silver one. Between these 2 knives, which one is yours? Seoju, thinking with anger that this snake had no shame in burying his house into the depths of the ground, said, "Yet another soul looses its things to the depths and dares to act clueless." "Wait, can I check to see if the dagger is mine?" asked Seoju as he approached the snake. "You may confirm," replied the snake. The snake opened its mouth so Seoju could confirm if it's his dagger, reaching out his hand. Having his dagger back, Seoju thought, "Seems I don't have my belt, no house, and am hungry, no money. But I wonder how snake meat tastes, especially a magical one." He instantly attacked the snake on the side of the mouth. "Who says the weapons you give me won't turn me into a psychopath serial killer?" The snake was shocked at how Seoju knew about this, recalling that the axes of gold and silver turned the original owner into a serial killer, and the number of victims was staggering. "You son of a bitch, you wanted to give me a cursed relic as a reward, weren't you? It's ironic that this trial was supposed to be about honesty." "Your existence is full of lies," said Seoju, approaching the snake. Using the dagger, he stabbed it deeply, injuring it. The snake let out a huge cry. Turning away from it, he said, "Just submit to me. I am not done with you, scumbag. You buried my house. It's either you submit and die, or leave your family jewels here and die. What's the difference, bro? Either way, the snake dies. Someone call animal control." "Do you think you can seize me this way?" said the snake. The snake gave a death stare at Seoju, who just smirked and said, "I guess the family jewels it is then." Recalling that if you complete a tombs trial, you get rewarded with a relic and the tomb will close. Those who were able to overcome the difficulties will receive the relic and its abilities, which led the relic and its owners to form a bond. This was a normal relationship. But the relic's nature was to hate and harm humans. If the humans were in contact with the relic for a prolonged period of time, they would become ill. Because of this, relic users who had access to the healing relic gained a lot of power and authority. That's the reason Seoju was exploited as a tomb raider by Seo Kwan. With this, Seoju vowed never to be friendly with relics this time. "If it were me, I would be on the same boat as you, our global tomb collector," he said while attacking the snake. The snake cried out in pain. "Let's see how you'll endure this," said Seoju with a furious look at the snake. Seoju, with a furious and dominant tone, shouted, saying, "I'll force you to surrender through domination."